was always enchanted by the ability of hands to express emotions like love, tenderness, anger. The initial idea was to create a show based on hands movements and music. From the moment I touched the sand, I fell in love with it because of the simplicity. I admired simplicity. In this kind of art, you have to use the basic that God has blessed you with: sand, hands, and soul. I made a small clip and I sent it via email to a few of my friends in Israel. In 2 weeks, my life changed. I have received feedback from all over the world, thousands of emails. Suddenly, I realized just how many hearts this kind of art had touched with the expression of my prayer, of my dream. We traveled all over the world. I performed in the Vatican, Kremlin, in front of King of Spain, King of Belgium. We've seen wonderful views, historical places, but the most exciting thing was the meeting with people. I realized again and again that wherever you live, to which religion you belong, everyone wants love. Everyone wants friends. I always try to express some messages in every piece I draw. Most of these themes are abstract and difficult to illustrate. During one of my performances, someone in the audience cried out, "Ilana, can you create a sand video that would demonstrate the values of loyalty and devotion?" I decided to accept the challenge. This is a story of a man who decided to go out into the world seeking adventure and risk. Yet he knows with certainty that should he ever be in true danger, there will be those back home who will come to his rescue, because home is where the heart is. I got married when I was 20 years old and became pregnant immediately. I was the happiest woman in the world, thinking, of course, that I had discovered pregnancy before anyone else had. It was Yom Kippur, the holiest day for the Jews. There is no such day in the world. There are no cars on the road, no television, people fast, and silence, complete silence. My husband and I were out walking. Suddenly, a sharp scream of a fighter plane broke the silence. My husband stopped short, looked at me and whispered, "Ilana, this is war," and disappeared to join his squadron. On the third day of the war, there was a knock on my door. All my life, I had dreaded the sound of a knock on the door in the middle of the night. I knew who would be standing there, what they would be wearing and what they would say, but never could I have imagined the reality of this evening. Never could I have imagined the people coming in and out of my house. Never could I have imagined sitting Shiva, mourning on my husband's loss. Never could I have imagined the emptiness.
ואתה משמרה בקרבי, אוי אוי אוי, אתה בראת, אתה יצרת, אתה נפחת בי, ואתה משמרה בקרבי, אוי ואתה עתיד נתלה, אוי ממני, ואתה נפחת בי.
4 months later, I went to the hospital and I gave birth to my son. I called him Dror, which means in Hebrew, freedom. My husband, Itzik, didn't know that he had a son. He was in a tiny cell, so tiny that he couldn't even stand up. He was unable to tell night from day because he was in the dark all the time. He was frozen from the Syrian winter, and all he could think about was whether or not he would be given food, and worst of all was the terrifying sound of pounding on the door, which meant more interrogations and tortures. After 8 months in the prison of Damascus, Itzik came back. He came back and he met Dror when Dror was 4 months old. 20 years later, to the day, Dror became pilot in the same squadron as his father. 7 years ago, I said Shiva again, mourning on my beloved husband again, but this time no miracle had happened. 1 hour before he left me, he looked at me and through my tears, I whispered, "What should I do without you? You are the love of my life. I don't know how to live without you." He looked at me and said, "You must continue with your art, with your performances." In my heart, I promised, "Yes, I will, but not without you. You will be with me on stage. You will be with me on the sand table."
אוי ואתה נפחת בי ואתה תיתוי לתלה אוי תנבני וליוחזי רבי ואל תדאגו ואתה ברדת אתה יצרת אוי ואתה נפחת בי
I can't stop praying and dreaming for peace. If you come to my country, to Israel, just walking on the street, you could hear the whisper of this prayer from each and every heart. Try to imagine how the world could be. No war, no hatred, no prejudice. Imagine world filled with tolerance, compassion, love. Just imagine.